Coming up, a first look tonight on the new plan for redeveloping downtown Moorhead. Great news for this year's wheat crop in North Dakota. And in an exclusive interview, Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison talks about defending abortion. Hello and welcome to the Nightly Review. I'm Kyle Cornell in tonight for Tom Tucker. We begin with a look at tonight's headlines, then a conversation with Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison talking about his efforts to stand for abortion. Coming off his expected and easy primary win Tuesday night, the incumbent Democrat will also comment on the race ahead against Republican Jim Schultz. But first tonight, we now have our first look at the conceptual plan for the Morehead Downtown Redevelopment Project. Roar's Construction has revealed the initial plans. We're told the project is inspired by a vision of more to Morehead. Roars says the reimagined downtown area is the stepping stone for future growth and value in Morehead. Roars will oversee planning and execution of development, which could cover up to 9 city blocks. The project will include green space, water features, and a connection to the riverfront. We're waiting for more details on the projected timeline, and you can see a link to more information up on our website, WDAYradionow.com. The Fargo Police Department is notifying the community that a registered sex offender is living at 726 College Street North. 53-year-old Stuart Dwayne Kelly has been convicted on several sex-related charges dating back to 1994. His victims in North Dakota and Arizona include minors and adults who were strangers to him. He is a lifetime registrant. A wanted fugitive remains on the loose tonight after evading Fargo police officers, including a canine. Wednesday night, officers searched the area of the 1600 block of Main Avenue. Police won't say specifically what the man is wanted for, only to tell us he's wanted on an outstanding warrant. We're told the investigation is ongoing. In the wake of 3 overdose deaths in a matter of days here in Fargo, the police department is reminding the community they are ready to help.
Each officer that's patrolling their neighborhoods has Narcan on their person, so anytime they respond to an overdose or a suspected overdose, that resource is immediately available to them.
Captain George Vinson says a major factor in saving lives on these calls is timing.
One thing that we really like to share with the public is the timeliness of this. A friend who might be with them, who may also be using, is protected by North Dakota state law under the Overdose Prevention and Immunity Law.
Vincent says getting help from services distributed from Fargo Cast Public Health and being trained to distribute Narcan yourself can pay major dividends to ending the opiate epidemic. Park officials say renovations are complete on a West Fargo disc golf course. Officials say the flow of the course was altered to give disc golfers their own space away from other areas of Rendezvous Park. Players can complete a standard 18-hole game or can play a shorter round. Both options finished near the parking lot at Aurora Elementary. U.S. Senator Kevin Cramer toured the North Dakota State Penitentiary Thursday and met with inmates participating in the Prison Fellowship Academy. The program takes a biblical and restorative approach to those affected by crime and incarceration. The Academy also helps prepare inmates and their families for life after prison. Kramer praised the faith-based program for its approach in treating inmates with dignity. North Dakota ag officials are expecting a record spring wheat crop. The state's wheat commission is projecting just a little more than 50 bushels per acre, which is almost 20 bushels per acre higher than last year. The positive outlook is diminished somewhat by the unusual planting season, where many farmers weren't able to get their crops in the ground until late as August. A state audit is revealing payroll issues and financial irregularities at Mayville State University. The audit shows the university reported more than $175,000 in overpayments to 15 employees. The auditor's office also found an additional $10,000 in overpayments to 7 additional employees. Auditors also discovered a lack of correct training of procedures for running payroll and other issues. We're told university officials are taking corrective steps. In Minnesota, they're hiring at the state's prisons, and they're offering $10,000 for new guards to sign on. The state's Department of Corrections offering a tour of the Oak Park Heights Correctional Facility near Stillwater to show the wing of the prison that's been closed because of those staffing shortages. In December, the state first offered $5,000 signing bonuses, but doubled the amount after not receiving enough applications. And country music star Sarah Evans closing out the Hugo's concert series this year in Grand Forks. Evans will perform tonight at the Greenway in the 4th and final concert of the series. Randy Houser will open the event. Again, tickets are non-refundable, and the show will take place rain or shine. Well, thanks as always for choosing the Nightly Review as your source for news and information for what's happening here in the FM Metro and the surrounding communities. If you haven't done so already, please support this new approach to local news by subscribing and hitting the bell button below to make sure you'd never miss an episode. Well, a lot of cloud cover hanging over the region today. Is that a sign of things to come this weekend? Meteorologist Justin Storm has the latest on the forecast from the Skywatch Weather Center.
Thanks, Kyle. As we head through this evening, we'll gradually start to see the clouds decreasing, which will go partly cloudy throughout tonight, and temperatures will dip down to near 60. Wind will lighten up as well as it turns out of the north around 5 to 15 miles per hour. We'll hang on to the light wind on Saturday, partly cloudy, high temperatures in the lower and mid 80s with an overnight low near 60 again Saturday night. A few more clouds around for Sunday, partly cloudy to partly sunny, an isolated shower possible late in the afternoon with high temperatures peaking in the mid 80s.
It could happen to you or someone you love. One moment, one diagnosis can change everything. Thankfully, there's a program that helps caring people uplift families through a crisis. Lend a Hand Up, raising financial help and hope through community benefits and online campaigns. A program that boosts generosity so gifts go further. Lend a Hand Up helps you help your neighbors. Learn more and give at lendahandup.org.
Welcome back to the Nightly Review. My guest for tonight's one-on-one conversation is Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison. The incumbent Democrat easily won his primary race last Tuesday as expected and is now gearing up to face a political newcomer in November. That's Republican Attorney General candidate Jim Schultz. We first congratulated Ellison on his win and asked what the results may or may not say about the campaign going forward.
Well, I think what the race tells us, given the number of votes that we got, is that, Minnesotans want an attorney general who is going to stand up for consumers, for farmers, for ordinary citizens who are just trying to have a bite at prosperity. We have been working very hard to protect people's rights. We've been aggressive with regard to the opioid litigation that we've made sure got all over the state. For everybody's benefit. We're bringing cases against the very few companies out there, but they do exist, who've tried to scam and defraud people and made sure that doesn't happen. We're sticking up for tenants all the time, wages. We've returned tens of thousands of dollars to literally hundreds of people who've victims of wage theft. People want that kind of work from their attorney general. And we've also been there for public safety. We've prosecuted aggressively in partnership with local county attorneys. We will continue to do that. But we've also done the kind of stuff on the civil side, which enhances safety, such as the opioid work that I just mentioned. So it says to me that folks like the work that we're doing for the, overwhelmingly, and we're going to keep on doing it all the way through.
The Attorney General also pointed to what he called a highlight of his first term.
Well, I was very, very proud to see my office, the lawyers and paralegals in our office, sue a landlord who tried to tack on a bunch of illegal fees to tenants in the area around Worthington, Minnesota. These folks are in a unit over 870 some tenants got an extra fee that the law did not allow the landlord to tack on. We stood up for those tenants and we were able to get them economic justice in a time when inflation was biting their pocketbooks and everything else. And I use that example because it is emblematic of our championing of the average consumer. Standing with the small farmer, standing in greater Minnesota, being an advocate for folks wherever they may live. So we've won cases with more money, we've won cases with more people, but it is a pragmatic example of how we champion the economic rights of the ordinary Minnesotan.
A couple of issues which are already front and center in the AG's race are abortion and crime, with Jim Schultz often criticizing Ellison on record crime rates. Ellison was first asked to comment on the role he expects abortion to play in his battle with Schultz.
Well, let me say that I have always respected people on both sides of the question. I come down on the side of having the individual make their own reproductive choices. They're not easy choices. They belong to the individual. I don't think 6 people on the United States Supreme Court should tell a woman what her family choices need to be. I think that is an individual right and should be made by an individual person. So that's where I come down. I'm going to stand for that right. And if the people, and it doesn't matter how they choose, but they should get to, the individual should get to choose. In Minnesota, that under the Doe versus Gomez case of 1995, women do have the right to choose. I will defend that. I believe that that is the right way to go. Let me say that my opponents don't agree. They think that women shouldn't have the right to choose. I don't agree with them. I respect them for their views, but I don't agree with their views. And I think most Minnesotans agree with me. We are an island here, and states around us have undermined the right. That's their prerogative, I guess, but I believe that it is a right women should have, and I'm going to stand for it.
I'd like to thank Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison for joining us for tonight's one-on-one conversation. Ellison did respond to criticisms of crime rates in the state, and we'll share his response on that and other comments on other topics coming up next week in part 2 of our conversation with the incumbent Democrats. Well, that's going to do it for this Friday night, August 12th, 2022. I'm Kyle Cornell filling in for Tom Tucker. We'll see if Tom can get back into our studios on Monday. Thanks again for watching the Nightly Review. I'm about done here, folks. Always appreciate you. Like and subscribe, of course, on YouTube, and have a great weekend.